So here's what's going on here, guys. Okay, listen, the USS Abraham Lincoln just arrived in the Indian Ocean. This is a Nimitz class. I think it's considered a super carrier, F-35s, F-18EF, Hawkeyes, Flyinks, and I think the ability to also support about 5,000 or so, personnel, active personnel here. Understand this is also in response to kind of what's been going on in Iran. It's been wild out there, my guys. Okay, absolutely insane. And obviously, when Trump starts to kind of do some of these things here, we kind of know generally something is going to happen, generally pretty soon here, guys. So let's go and jump to the video immediately. Let's see what they are kind of expressing here. Name of the video here is U.S. aircraft carrier attack plan on Iran. Let's encounter it. This is coming from the channel AI Telly. All right, let's jump into it.
Why is the Pentagon rushing to move a slow, floating city halfway across the world at a burn rate of millions per day? In an era of stealth bombers that can strike anywhere on Earth in hours, why do we still rely on these massive assets? Moving a U.S. supercarrier from the South China Sea to the Persian Gulf isn't just a road trip. It is a logistical nightmare. We are talking about a massive operation that burns through more than $6.5 million every single day.
And we're not going to waste that,
But here's why they do it. A bomber strikes and leaves, but a carrier strike group stays. It parks 70 fighter jets off the coast of an adversary and leaves them there. It creates a no-fly zone that a bomber simply cannot maintain. But how exactly do U.S. attack operations and logistical support actually work? Part 1. The naval pivot. The chess pieces are moving. We are tracking the largest naval redistribution since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. The Pentagon is emptying the Pacific to flood the Persian Gulf. But where are all the U.S. nuclear carriers stationed when not at war? And how many will travel to Iran and the Middle East? On paper, the number is 11 nuclear-powered supercarriers, divided into two distinct classes. First, the Nimitz class. These are the 10 workhorses of the fleet commissioned between 1975 and 2009. Second, the Ford class. Right now, there is only one, the USS Gerald R. Ford. This new generation uses electromagnetic catapults to launch jets faster. Well, let's look at this scenario: what happened when the Department of War gives a green signal. The USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group is typically stationed in the South China Sea to deter Chinese vessels. However, upon receiving flash priority orders, it can sprint to the Middle East in just a week. It has to transit the Malacca Strait, the choke point between Malaysia and Indonesia. Meanwhile, the U.S. can...
Guys, understand, the Malacca Strait also is like a heavily pirate-filled area, but for some reason, we never kind of hear too much about these pirates, but they're definitely pirates out there, guys.
The choke point between Malaysia and
Indonesia. I'm not sure they're going to have the unmitigated
Meanwhile, the U.S. can launch another nuclear aircraft carrier.
To attack
the USS George H.W. Bush will depart from Norfolk, Virginia, likely crossing the Atlantic to enter the Mediterranean. Okay. This leaves the Pacific dangerously thin, with only the USS Ronald Reagan or its replacement, the George Washington, potentially available in Japan. The plan is to have 2 full strike groups off the coast of Iran within 10 days to form a pincer deterrent. Here is part 2, the missile logistics. Following the first strike against Iran's nuclear bunkers, the U.S. had actually removed 60% of its missile defense systems from Qatar and the Middle East. So how many missiles are being transported from different parts of the world to fix this? The answer is fill the sky with these Globemasters. The U.S. military needs a massive airlift of roughly 4 to 6 Patriot batteries and components for a THAAD battery. This involves over 300 heavy transport flights. But here's the detail most people miss. The U.S. needs a flood of aging Patriot missiles to be pulled from stockpiles in Germany and Japan. Why move old missiles? Because they are the perfect cheap solution for Iran's thousands of Shahed drones. Commanders are hoarding the brand new scarce PAC-3 kinetic interceptors for the hypersonic and ballistic missile threats. The military is clearing out the Cold War inventory to save the modern tech for the big one.
And guys, I think we're starting to realize immediately, kind of with the statements that are currently being made, why currently the federal government is trying to push so hard for Greenland, guys. Because I mean, imagine if we did have the ability to kind of see a ballistic missile kind of coming in any meaningful manner from even further than we already can, then imagine, right? Great idea, guys. I mean, I get it. I hear you. But I mean, I don't know if they're going to want to do this. But if we can get that deal kind of, on the table, I definitely think we should probably take that one there, guys.
And part 3 is the cost of war. What is the cost involved in this massive transfer?
Wild.
War
It's
is
wild.
expensive, but moving an army is a fortune. First, the ships. Operating a single carrier strike group costs between $6.5 million and $9 million per day. That covers nuclear maintenance, jet fuel, and food for 7,000 sailors. Second, the ammo. A single THAAD interceptor costs $12.7 million. The SM-3 missiles on the destroyers cost $28 million per shot. If you combine the airlift fuel, the naval surge, and the prepositioned ammo, this 30-day deterrence operation has a burn rate exceeding $1.5 billion.
Jeez.
And that is before a single shot is fired.
Right, that's just
In
us
part
posturing.
4, we'll look at what is the logistic nightmare involved in sustaining this force. The nightmare is access. As of January 14, 2026, we have reports of a partial evacuation of the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar due to
Okay.
rising tensions. This is the nightmare scenario. If Qatar or the UAE deny the U.S. Navy access to their ports for fear of Iranian retaliation, the carrier strike group loses its pit stop. The Lincoln is nuclear, but her escort destroyers need diesel every 3 days.
Okay.
Without a friendly port, the U.S. Navy must create a steel chain of supply-class oilers stretching 7,000 miles back to Diego Garcia or Guam. If that chain breaks, the most powerful fleet in history becomes a floating museum.
Yeah, I mean, understand this here. I have no idea if we're going to even be able to maintain Diego Garcia, kind of because of like the internal strife that's actually happening there. To my knowledge, it definitely sounds like China may actually get a stronghold there, guys. I think by way of the UK not, I guess, maintaining or managing their part of the deal, I think.
We cannot ignore this Part 5, the air power alternative. But what happens if the carriers don't get there in time? Can the U.S. fight without its Navy? The answer is yes. Focusing only on the slow-moving ships is a mistake. The United States holds an ace up its sleeve that doesn't need to wait for a clear shipping lane. Even without a carrier strike group, the U.S. can deliver precision strikes for weeks to come. This is the domain of Air Force Global Strike Command. They can deploy the big 3 strategic bombers anywhere in the world in just 24 hours. First, you have the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. This is the door kicker. It is the only aircraft in history capable of taking off from Missouri, flying nonstop to Iran, penetrating the most advanced air defense networks undetected, and dropping massive bunker busters on deep underground facilities.
Yeah, that's what they used last
Second,
time.
the B-1B Lancer, known as the Bone. This supersonic heavy
Bro, is this why we don't have the Concorde anymore? The military just ate it up?
hitter carries the largest payload of any U.S. bomber. It can dash in at high speed and low altitude to deliver massive barrages of cruise missiles or satellite-guided bombs to clear the path. And finally, the B-52 Stratofortress. It may look old, but do not underestimate it. It acts as a flying missile truck, capable of launching long-range cruise missiles from hundreds of miles away, well outside the reach of Iranian air defenses. Let's take a look at how this works. The first line attack involves the B-2 stealth bomber moving in to destroy high-value air defense systems like the famous S-400 Triumph and other surface-to-air missiles, effectively disabling them by using its stealth technology. Next, the B-1 Lancer flies at a very low altitude towards enemy targets to take out older anti-aircraft guns and missiles. This clears the way for conventional aircraft like the B-52 Stratofortress, which can then sweep in to destroy any critical infrastructure without facing anti-aircraft threats. This is the reason they need both the B-2 stealth bomber and conventional bombers, as there are only 19 units of the B-2 Spirit in service to date. But let's move back to the super carrier strike group.
That's enough of those.
A typical carrier strike group might comprise of 5 to 7 of these ships. At the center sits the aircraft carrier. These carriers can accommodate a maximum of 130 fighter jets. Flanking each side are 4 destroyers. They could be the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, predominantly used for anti-air warfare. Leading the battleship at the front is a Ticonderoga-class cruiser. These ships are multi-mission, covering air warfare, undersea warfare launching torpedoes, naval surface fire support, and surface warfare. At the back is the frigate class, generally serving as a light escort with a focus on anti-surface and anti-air roles, with a lesser degree of capability than larger ships. Depending on the mission, nuclear-powered Virginia-class submarines animated in our recent videos can also be added to the carrier strike group to seek out and destroy hostile surface ships and submarines.
Okay.
The typical carrier air wing can include the Grumman E-2 Hawkeye. This aircraft flies ahead of the aircraft carrier, scanning the battlefield with its large radome radar.
Yeah, guys, the thing about this one here is that the Hawkeye definitely is like known for being on the USS Abraham Lincoln. And that is the ship that was basically, well, that was the super carrier that was sent into the Indian Ocean, guys. So, yeah, the Hawkeye's there, guys.
Simply put, it acts as the scout, providing early warnings of any enemy activity up to almost 100 kilometers away. They even have a mini cargo plane, the C-2 Greyhound, which they use to transport equipment and personnel. While the 6 Seahawk helicopters are designed for rescue and anti-submarine missions. These Seahawk helicopters can be launched from a specific part of an aircraft carrier. We also made a deep dive into the sea, air, and land components of the nuclear triad, so subscribe for more videos to not miss a beat.
Okay, guys, hold on. Yeah, but how much of it do you think is actually going to be used? Let's just say this here. Because, like, guys, if we look at what happened kind of pretty much recently in international waters off of, South America, yeah, we're going to posture immediately, like pretty aggressively, because we're going to, right? But like the direct target is going to be done so strategically and kind of like less in your face. It's always like a misdirection type of thing. I'm not trying to give people ideas on what's going to happen here. Let's just say this here, but I can only assume here. Right. And I'm going to give you my overall opinion. And my overall opinion is probably not going to be anything loud in your face. It's going to be kind of in the dead of night. Let's just say this here, similar to the last one. And out of nowhere, you're not going to expect what happened here. It's going to happen very fast. It's going to be very efficient. And the people who go in are going to be basically super soldiers wearing exoskeletons like they did last time. Right. So, yeah, I suspect that it's going to be quiet. It's going to be efficient, and they're going to go straight for whoever the head of whatever this is, guys, right? But unfortunately, if they do go for the literal Ayatollah, the Ayatollah doesn't really have much power. I mean, he has a mouth. If that makes any sense. I mean, his mouth, for the most part, is the only power he basically has here. The real power are the people who back him, right? The ones who are behind him, the ones that basically tell him what to do, guys, right? So we'll see where this goes here. So yeah, that's the thing. I think it's the IRGC, if I recall, at least. So yeah, the supreme leader is the supreme leader. Sure, definitely, but he's a puppet. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes here. Because again, I definitely am not really interested too deeply in the loss of one singular American life at all in this. Okay, my opinion, obviously. But listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. And again, the name of this channel this video came from is called AI Telly. I'll catch you guys later. Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies. And I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with, many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings. And we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry, right? Listen, like and subscribe.